Hi everyone, Crowfy here. Today I will be talking about rockets. I think they are very underappreciated. People think they are too expensive, too slow, too vulnerable, and sometimes on some maps it's true. But in other situations, rockets can accomplish things no other unit can. I will show you today some examples of that. But before, let's talk about the requirements of building good rockets. The first thing is to have some cover for them. Either other units forming a wall or heavy terrain. Heavy terrain can be a natural wall that can protect your rockets from the enemy without using up too much of your precious units. So covering up your rockets is the first requirement. And the second requirement is reaching the front lines fast. If your rockets slow you down significantly because they have to travel through woods, they have to travel by lander, they usually arrive too late and they ruin your tempo. So you have to calculate if your rockets arrive on the scene fast enough. So the first requirement is cover, and the other is the speed. And rockets can reach the front lines very fast on certain maps. And why use rockets? Now we know the when. Let's talk about the why. What are the reasons you would want to build the rockets? The first reason is to protect yourself from artillery baselocks, because rockets outrange artillery, and well, the general idea would be rockets counter artillery. Let's see how it works. This is the first round of the first Mariner Cup, where I faced JJ Empire 64. And he opened with artillery. This is quite a strong opening on that map, because it can go up, it can go down, and if it goes down, it can do a very early base lock. So I have to defend by building a tank here, and unsurprisingly, the artillery goes up, protecting this infantry. And now I will do some early engagements to struggle to get a property advantage. My strategy for that match is to neglect com towers. I don't want a com tower. I want money. This is mixed base, so every 1k counts. Now we can skip a few turns. And here I am able to interrupt that cap so that nobody has com towers for some time, which is good for me. I managed to get income advantage, which is quite good for Andy because Lash has stronger day-to-day. And here comes the turn I want to talk about. Double artillery, close to my base. If this artillery goes into that shoal and this infantry goes here, I would have to use up many of my important units to clear that, but that artillery would be further protected by the second artillery. And artillery costs only 6k, so if I use an 8k unit to kill a 6k unit and it gets killed the same, then I am at a disadvantage. And it's very close to my base. I have to use units from this base to disable the base lock, and it would be very detrimental for me. So instead I built rockets. And rockets outrange artillery. They cannot reach that forest, which is the blind spot of my rockets. So anywhere this artillery goes, if it goes too close, it will get hit by my rockets. So I fought off the immediate threat of a base lock, and If my opponent decides, as he does, to move both artillery units down, away from my rockets, I can very quickly shift my rockets to the left to reinforce the left flank. So they will see action soon, even if that threat is neutralized. And now those two artillery units don't do anything for one turn. They are simply useless for now, because they can go further down and lock down this base. So I can build another rockets to neutralize this threat from the other side. But rockets were not the most important thing in that match. The most important thing was getting tank superiority on the right, because JJ Empire probably thought that Lush tanks are untouchable on cities, and as we see, I lose the first engagement, but 2 tanks against 1, I still win. And here I do the same, 2 tanks against 1, and now I have significant tank superiority on the right. I move my rockets to the left, I build another rockets, and now, despite my opponent getting 1 com tower and preventing me from getting mine, I am in a very, very good position. So prime tactics come in, but they don't do very much. I am able to move the rockets to a place where they can shoot at this artillery and be safe at the same time, because I use natural cover. This pipe, together with this river, cover my rockets excellently, and even if my MD tank gets shot at, it will be repaired by Andy's powers. So the plan worked out, and my opponent resigned. Another example of rocket usage is reinforcing your weak side. This can sound strange because people say don't build artillery on your weak side, and for artillery this is true. But if you can build rockets with good cover, they can even out your position, because your opponent has more units, but if you snipe 1 unit a turn with your rockets, sooner or later you will even the things out. And this is what I attempt to do here. This map is called Scorpion Operation. This is a very interesting map. The only drawback, it has no com tower. But without com towers, walls are harder to break, which favors indirects. So artillery is very good on that map, and as I said previously, rockets counter artillery. So let's skip a lot of turns in that Sasha mirror. As you see, artillery is excellent in those mountain corridors. Some engagements take place, and I am able to get a small income advantage by getting that city, and my opponent did not get this one. Now the situation is equal, and here my opponent accumulates a lot of forces by sending units from both this base and this base here. And I have only 1 base here to reinforce. So this is my weak side. And I got attacked here. And you usually don't want to be attacked on your weak side, because every unit you lose is more important for you than for the opponent. Here I have quite a good cover, so those tanks shift to the middle. And I decide to protect my cities, despite low odds. I have only one base here and I use it to produce an infantry. So now those tanks will shift to the middle to threaten the base from this direction, and here my opponent closes in from that direction. So this base is very vulnerable now. But rockets save the day. I built infantry wall so that my rockets won't get attacked, and I attack here. This may sound strange, but rockets will even the things out. So my opponent sees the rockets, and he does some engagements here, because he still has some count advantages, so he kills off my infantry. But he shifts to get this city, and he shifts his tanks to the left. So now here is a significant force, and I am in the danger of being outnumbered. So I built second rockets. This artillery will shoot at my artillery, but next turn the rockets will move one space, and they will already cover this city, and they will be able to threaten that artillery. So as you see on this map, rockets have to move very little to be viable. And this is a sign of good rockets. If they reach the front early, they are good. And there is a lot of natural terrain to protect them, for example this river here. And this corridor can be easily locked. Here I locked it with a copter. So now I am able to protect important areas with my rockets, and my opponent won't get my weak side because it's protected by that rocket, and it's very hard to get to it due to this hard terrain. So all those tanks have very little to do, because left flank is protected by 2 artillery units, middle is protected by these rockets, and the right flank is protected by those rockets. So this is a last-ditch effort, but my opponent sees that he will lose those engagements because those rockets would have a feast day, and he wisely resigns here. So rockets are good to protect your weak side if you have enough units to cover them. This is the lesson from that second example. And now the third thing you can use rockets for is protecting your HQ. This is Vadum of Valhalla, a map with quite interesting openings. My opponent, Raider El Caroman, opens recon, and I answer that recon opening by building artillery, so that if I cap that city, it will be protected by the artillery, and from that side the artillery is protected by this infantry unit. So the recon has nothing to shoot at, and I think this artillery opening is pretty good. So my opponent also builds an artillery, and as I said, rockets outrange artillery, so if there is a lot of artillery units on the map, rockets can be considered. Let's skip a few turns. Despite this rather nasty road from the factory to the right flank, I decide to make the right side my strong side, because there is a lot of juicy cities here to capture, and I have very little hopes of capping those cities. So I make my right flank strong. I want to get my com tower and prevent my opponent from getting his. The pipe seam got broken, and these forces in the middle are dangerously close to my HQ. But I don't have to worry, there is no infantry in range to cap the HQ, so I can build rockets here to further reinforce my strong side. Rockets are good on the weak side, but they are also good on the strong side to help with the push. And they also protect those two cities that are in the risk of being taken by that single infantry here. My opponent decides to go closer and closer to my HQ. So the HQ threat is clearly visible now. So I build my second rockets here, and they already protect my HQ. So my opponent shifts to the left. And on big maps, this strategy, you see rockets, you shift to the other side of the map, works. But this is not a very big map. And you can easily move those rockets on those roads to the left flank. So if my opponent stays on the left flank, the rockets will sooner or later catch up. So my right side is very strong, and my opponent built rockets on his weak side. As I told you before, this is quite a good decision. This road allows it to come into battle quickly, and those mountains provide natural cover. So I won't be able to reach those rockets, and they lock the com tower. Of course, locking important properties is another job of rockets. So those rockets are very useful. I will never get my com tower, and my strong side is in a picky situation. I cannot advance too far because I would get continually being shot by those rockets. So instead, I bait my opponent to overextend and go here. I got my own medium tank, I got artillery, I got rockets, I got second rockets here. So if my opponent overextends and tries the HQ cap, I will make a good use of my rockets. But if he shifts to the left, I am in trouble. Fortunately, my opponent takes the bait and uses his Trail of Woe. A lot of my units die, but Raider Erkaromen overextended a lot. He hopes to get the cap and win by HQ capture. Fortunately, this rockets is still good to shoot at, and it will reduce the infantry to 8 HP. The other rockets, due to increased range by Jake, also get a pretty nice shot. Of course, Jake likes indirects. And I got a shot on that medium tank, and those forces crumble. They are far from reinforcements, but when my opponent committed such a lot of units, he has to press on. And this is what I am counting on. The HQ cap continues, but I produced a third rocket unit. And this rocket was used as a cover for the other rockets. And it survived. This is very important luck roll. Those rockets survived, so this tank cannot hit those rockets. And now my rocket wall works perfectly. I am able to weaken that infantry with these rockets and kill that tank off with these rockets, and generally massacre this death ball here. So rockets attacked from here, infantry finished that infantry off, and I put a T-copter on my HQ to ensure that no more cap attempts are made. So hooray! I won on the middle. But on the right, I had to move a lot of units to the middle to help with the HQ threat. So now my right side is no longer my strong side. And I make a wall that is quite shaky. My opponent sees it. He makes some engagements to get the superpower. And now boom. My artillery is crippled and my right side is now crumbling. Here the scorched earth tactic is used. I have no healthy infantry on the left. And this is a pretty dire situation for me. I have to use beatdown just to stay in the game and not lose. And well, I have to make a good use of my 3 rocket units. Now I want to just stall it out and wait for better times and advance on the left, because I still have a significant force on the left, but due to the fight taking place here, I am too far into my own territory and it will take me a few turns to advance. So I advance, slowly but surely. I manage to damage all of his infantry units so that it will take him longer to recap those properties. And I slowly shift to the left. I build my 4th rockets. And my opponent decides to build his own rocket unit. And this is where I saw that this will take forever. So we both agreed to a draw, even if my opponent was in a better position, because he has this com tower, he is going to get this com tower, and by that T-copter he will get his 3rd com tower, which will make it extremely easy for him to wall break and get to my rockets. So I am pretty happy that we decided to make it a draw. And the lesson from this is rockets can protect your HQ when nothing else short of a pipe runner or a battleship can. But pipe runners and battleships are not very practical, and rockets can see good use after the HQ threat is taken care of. So let's go into the fog. In the fog, rockets can also be good if they are well protected and they have something to shoot at. This map is called Tokyo Dorifuto, and it's probably an initial D reference because a day 3 recon is the meta on that map. There is a lot of roads and the recons can take some free engagements without the threat of tank retaliation, so they drift on those highways and they are happy. So this is a good name for that map. Sami is also very strong in Tier 4 because there is a lot of opportunities to interrupt caps with those recons, and Sami infantry can finish the cap even with injured infantry, so it is not really an interrupt. So yeah, Sami is strong, even if HQs are protected by those black boats. So the match goes like this. I decide to move a lot of my infantry down to the bottom and cap a lot of cities here, while maintaining that com tower for a few turns on the top. The plan works. There is nearly nothing on the bottom. I got absolute domination here, and those infantry units can cap whatever they like. But my opponent saw that, and he shifted his units to the top. And now I am being attacked on the top. So I want to protect my cities. What can I do? I build rockets. Those rockets can reach those shoals in one turn, and they are covered by those 3 sea tiles, so only a copter will be able to shoot at them, because those 2 squares are too close to my base. So those are pretty safe rockets, they will reach the front quite easily, and they will see some action because my opponent committed a lot of forces to the top, and he will want to make use of his advantage. An MD tank would also be viable, but look, there are those forests here, it wouldn't reach on time. And my rockets already cover a lot of important units. So rockets can be faster than medium tanks with difficult terrain here, with those sea tiles and those forests, and easy terrain here, this road and this shoal. So now my opponent decides to press in, because this is his strong side. He should be stronger here, he has more units. But I have my rockets. And as I said, building rockets on your weak side can even things out. And I don't shoot on that tank. I want to get to that copter with my anti-air, and those 2 infantry units are walling it pretty good. This recon will not be able to one-shot that 9 HP infantry, because Sami has lowered attack, and the recon cannot reach that tile. Even if I kill that infantry with my 2 infantry here, the recon will not be able to interrupt the cap. Of course, I can just interrupt it with infantry, but then this infantry would die, and I wouldn't get this copter. So what do? I shoot at the infantry with my rockets, I kill off the infantry with my recon, and I got the copter. So the rockets immediately paid out. They shot only at 1k infantry, but they enabled my anti-air to get a 9k kill. And this is very good for me. And those rockets are still unseen. My opponent does not know that they are here. He may as well think that there is an artillery in that forest. So this is very fortunate for me. There is also one very niche fact. Rockets deal exactly as much damage to land units as battleships. So if you are playing in the fog, you can trick your opponent into thinking you built a battleship, and in reality you build a rockets, or vice versa. And it may work. So now my opponent still advances because he does not know about the rockets, and I don't shoot at the anti-air. I shoot at the infantry, because Victory March is going soon, and I want to kill off as many enemy infantry as possible. And I deal off with the anti-air with my mech and my copter. So now my opponent should know that I have rockets. He sees them with the recon. He had to move a recon to confirm that there are rockets here, so I get a free recon hit. And now he shifts to the middle. This is a wise decision. Let's skip a few turns. Because he shifts to the middle, and I know that he has some artillery, I want to build second rockets to go down here and protect my units. I have income advantage, so I just want to wait things out. But my opponent decides to aggressively cap this city and take some engagements because he suspects I have only infantry here. I build my rockets here, and it will drift right into this lander, and the lander will transport it here or here. So my opponent attacked. He basically has to be aggressive because he is at a disadvantage, he has lower income. And I use that opportunity to attack him back and kill off as many infantry as possible. I take some good engagements on the bottom. and I move my rockets down because I see that all his forces are in this area of the map. And my second rockets are on the way. And because I killed off a lot of infantry units here, the victory march of my opponent will be relatively weak. Let's see how many cities he caps. 1 city, 2 cities, 3 cities. So he was able to flip the income advantage. But now my victory march begins. So, because he overextended here, my rockets will still have work to do. And this is a sign of good rockets. If rockets shoot continuously, they are good. And I get a lot of cities. Really a lot. At the end of the turn, I have 8k income advantage. So this is pretty much GG. All I need to do is to wait until I accumulate a lot of value. So let's skip more turns. And these rockets protect those middle cities from being taken. So they are very good at this. I don't have to sacrifice infantry units to stop caps. I can just shoot with rockets, and voila, I also get a few shots. I got this city, and now I just have to endure the last-ditch attempt by my opponent. He uses his super. He does not get anything, but, well, I have my own super, and I win by city capture. This is rare to see in practice. I killed a lot of units because I aggressively moved my rockets to the left, and I am able to cap enough cities to win that match. So rockets can be also good in fog. You can ensure that your opponent's strong side is where you build the rockets, and then your opponent can attack because he thinks, oh, this is my strong side, I can attack here. And then he sees the rockets and he is done for. Of course, you can do it only when terrain allows it. Here the rockets were protected by those sea tiles. So to sum things up, rockets can be built when you can cover them and when they can arrive on the front lines quick enough. Those are two must-haves. And the examples I covered today are: build rockets to counter artillery, to prevent base locks. Build rockets to protect your HQ. Build rockets to protect your weak side from your opponent's strong side. Build rockets in the fog to surprise your opponent's strong side and get a lot of kills. Don't build rockets in the fog if you are not sure if they will get any kills. And lastly, build rockets when you want to do some shenanigans, when you want to play unconventionally and to protect your properties. Rockets are very good at zoning out and protecting properties. And in the end, let's watch a match where I misuse the rockets. Let's look at an example how not to do it. This map is called Reforming. The opening here is tricky because it is good to transport the APC to the main island as soon as possible to boost your infantry closer to the middle. You also need to deal with that recon that spies on you and prevents you from getting the airport. And this map is not well suited for rockets because it takes too long to get rockets to the front lines. but I attempted to build rockets anyway. Let's see how it goes. The first mistake I make is blocking the road here with my APC, but I did not expect that it would get encircled by enemy units and killed, as it happened. I built an helicopter to interrupt this cap, and now my artillery locks down this city, which is quite good for me. So all I need to do now is to maintain income advantage. I want to stall out the game and slowly and methodically push with my rockets. So here I put this tank on that city, and on previous turn, when I put that tank, nothing happened. But my opponent saw that medium tank with his recon and decided to shift his forces to the top. And I did not expect this, so I built those rockets. And usually you build rockets when there is no fighting going on, when the situation is calm. But here there is a lot of fighting and I need immediate response to that. And I don't have that immediate response because I was saving money for those rockets. So I put them in the lander and continue with my strategy, but I have to back off in the top flank. And on the bottom flank, my opponent has double artillery to prevent me from doing anything too crazy. So I am in no good position to attack. All I can do is build a bomber as a high-risk strategy to count on my opponent not having anti-air on that weak side. He has 2 anti-air on the strong side, and I reveal them with my recon. The recon is already dead because my opponent is good at killing my units on the top. And I suspect no third anti-air, but here it is. My opponent did not see that bomber, but he built a preemptive anti-air to just in case. I am able to hit that recon with my rockets, which is nice, but not enough. And I reveal my bomber just now, and I expect the anti-air to be built just now. I am still losing on the top. I will kill this 7 HP tank with my rockets, but still not enough. And I think that I have one more turn of free bomber terror, but the anti-air is closing in. So, well, I know that I will probably lose. Everything is crumbling here. I have more one kill with the rockets, and I go too far with my bomber, and finally there is anti-air to defend those units, so my bomber will get crippled and my rockets will die. They were not the only reason I lost this match, but they certainly did not help, because they took forever to reach that forest and I needed reinforcements as soon as possible. Here my opponent takes the second com tower, and that's it. This map is susceptible to some 2 com tower cheese. And in my next video I will show you some examples of that, some strategies how to get both com towers for a while and make advantage out of it. Until the next time, bye.